So now the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment issued a notification in late June proposing the decriminalization of minor offences under the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016, which has drawn a major criticism from specially abled persons, activists, and many dedicated organizations. Now, today we are joined with Mr. Nipun Malhotra and Ms. Mansi Joshi. Mansi is a para badminton world champion, whereas Nipun is a renowned disabilities activist, and he is the chief executive officer of Nipman Foundation, as well as the founder of Wheels for Life. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajani.
So my first question to both of you would be that why are you objecting to the proposed amendments in the Disability Act?
Sure. I think that's a very important question. The 2016 Act, when it came out, I think it was a game changer to many in the Indian disabled community, because for the first time, discrimination was criminalized, and persons with disabilities really had this confidence that, if somebody harasses us or troubles us, we do have the courts backing us, we have the law backing us, and somebody can go to jail if they treat us very badly. Unfortunate, and this was after a lot of hard work by persons with disabilities in the disabled community, not just in India but the world over. Your viewers might not know, but India was one of the first signatories of the United Nations Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in 2007. But since then, no act had really come up criminalizing offences against persons with disabilities. And now, with this amendment, suddenly for the first time after the act, these offences are going to be decriminalized again, because the chief commissioner or state commissioners for persons with disabilities have the right to compound such cases. And by compound, one means that they can dismiss such cases and levy a financial penalty instead, without the accused party really going to jail.
Yeah, so what has happened is they are decriminalizing one offense in the section 92, the part A, which says that if some people maybe mock publicly dehumanizes or mocks at us, it can be instead of the proper jail term or fine, it will be an out of court settlement where the commissioner for people with disability will be the person who will be taken care of. So I think government wants to this whole what do you say? This was for taking care of the whole declogging the courts, and another reason that is given by the government is that it wants to reduce the number of what do you say?
Criminal offences.
Yeah, so they want to reduce, or they want to decriminalize reduce the number of criminal offenses, and I think it makes no sense, because I think we as people with disability, we are not the ones who are clogging up the courts. It is government. I mean, give us more courts. I mean, do not say to declog this, we want to decriminalize one of the part. We don't want that. Let there be more court cases setting up if case be, and let us have that kind of dignity. Like, let nobody mock at us and just give us names or call us names in public places or intimidate us publicly, because right now we have that right that it is an offense. You can be jailed for it, and and it empowers people with disability. This whole act, there are just, I think, 6 points which are atrocities against people with disabilities, but these 6 points, they give a lot of empowerment to people with disabilities when an offense is conducted on a person with disability. So I think decriminalizing one of the offense to declog the court, it makes no sense to me.
So, is it fair to say that the government is prioritizing business interest over its this section of the society?
No, in fact, what's interesting to note is that the Confederation of Indian Industry came up with a list of acts that need to be decriminalized to encourage private investment. And there were 37 acts. It was a very comprehensive report that was prepared in February 2020. And I'm one of those disability activists who thinks that industry is not really the enemy of the disability sector. Industry and the disability sector have to go hand in hand, because industry is also the biggest employer of persons with disabilities. But the interesting thing is, CII did not even ask for this act to get decriminalized in that sense. So it's not that industry is even asking for this amendment. I think the Ministry of Social Justice, just in its bravado to impress the Finance Ministry and add to the number of acts that did get decriminalized, has decided to do this. And I think that is really unfortunate, because I think it takes the Indian disability sector back by decades, if not centuries in that sense, right? And the second thing that I would like to talk about is that even the clogging of courts, which Mansi mentioned right now, which is a flimsy excuse that the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has come up, is weird because if you feel that courts are getting clogged because of cases related to these criminal offenses related to persons with disabilities, you should share some data. You cannot make a decision without sharing any kind of data. This is just one random government officer maybe or sitting one day and thinking, let's decriminalize this disability act or whatever, because there's no thinking behind this. There's no scientific study that has proved that this is leading to lack of investment by the private sector, or the fact that courts are getting clogged because of this particular act. So I just think that this is a knee-jerk reaction by the Ministry of Social Justice to impress the Finance Ministry when the Finance Ministry is not even asked for this.
So what
as Ripur rightly said, I think which company will say, I don't want to I don't want to invest in India, or I don't want to, set up an industry in India because there is a disability act in place which gives empowerment to people with disability. Which company will say this? I think companies will be more interested to set up in India if they realize that there are laws in place, there are reservations in place, and they are helping, or they are giving opportunities to people with disabilities. So I'm sure companies don't want this. I am sure, like, if I'm a company, I would love to have a business or industry in India where people with disabilities, the rights for people with disabilities are in place, and some offenses are criminalized. So I think, as Nipun said, I think it makes no sense to, just take out one point and say, let us decriminalize it.
So what impact will this amendment have on the progress that India has already been making, in terms of disability rights?
I think this amendment will have a very negative impact because, firstly, persons with disabilities face discrimination on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure Mansi faces it on a day-to-day basis. I face it on a day-to-day basis.
Definitely.
And a person really goes to court only when, there's no other option left. For the smallest of offenses, we obviously don't go to court because it's an expensive. It's not free to go to court, right? It costs money. You need to get a lawyer, or you need to have the entire legal process you need to follow through. It's a drain on your emotional resources. It's a drain on your time. So it's only when all other remedies are not possible that a person really goes to court to complain regarding discrimination. And I think to a large extent, after the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, people have used the fact they can send somebody to jail for discrimination as at least a threat to prevent discrimination. For example, and people also know that, for example, today Divyani will have this fear that if I discriminate against Nipun for being a person with a disability, I can go to jail. Suddenly that fear totally goes away, and we are in a wild, wild west kind of a situation where anybody can treat any person with a disability in any way. And I think that is extremely unfortunate because I think this government has shown a lot of proactivity in the past when it comes to persons with disabilities. They came up with this term Divyang, which I'm not a supporter of that term. But at the same time, that term at least showed that the government was thinking about persons with disabilities, right? Because they were doing something about them. They came up with this Accessible India campaign that had a lot of problems, but at the same time, it was a campaign that at least thought about disability, and it made it a national mission to make India accessible. The government came up with the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, which was an act a lot of people were really waiting for. So the government was making all the right noises in that sense in terms of disability, even though, of course, on ground, a lot more needed to be done. So that's why I find it so shocking and so disappointing that the government would go a step back and, take India back to an archaic time when there is no legal protection for persons with disabilities against discrimination.
These sections in No, go ahead. No,
yeah, because I read an article which stated how many rights a person with disability has, or atrocities against people with disabilities. There are just 6. And I read an article which says that the SC/ST Act has more. So I went and read the rights for SC/ST and the atrocities against which a person can be booked. And I realized that the amendments that have happened in the SC/ST Act against atrocities committed against SC/ST, they were numerous. Like, you can there are almost 26 and it has more subsections to it. And you realize that us having just 6 rights and out of that one of the criminal offenses getting decriminalized, I think just to attract foreign investment or declog the court, it makes no sense. If government is saying, or if an officer sitting in the Ministry of Social Justice department is saying that they want to reduce, they don't want to have the same kind of jail term, or they don't want to give same kind of fines for all the atrocities. So you can, if you want that kind of a thing, do not decriminalize it. At least you can split it into a minor offense and a major offense, and then term those things according to the majority or minority of the offense, but do not decriminalize it. Now, if you see the act, the suggestion given by the suggestion given in the letter which is issued on the ministry website, you see that the suggestion states that the commissioner for people with disability, that person will be the one who will be judging this case. Now, how many states have all posts open? Like, there are so, if you see the website again, and if you see the circulars in the website, you see that there are so many states which do not even have commissioners appointed. So now what will they do if, if this act is changed? What are these commissioners, and who will be these people who will be acting against it? So I think, it's like an out of court settlement. I'm going to pay you for, I mocked at you. Okay, I'll pay you. And the commissioner will decide, acha, isko 10,000 rupees de do. I think this makes no sense. Iska fine. I mean, a person will not be fined, right? Person will be fined, but the person with disability won't be an actual beneficiary. Who will be the actual beneficiary in this case? So I think we need answers for all of this. And I think me as a person with disability, I want my rights to be protected. I want my inputs. I don't want, like what Nipun said, that, people, when do they go to courts? When the crime or jo bhi hota hai above your head, when it reaches above your head, that's the time you go to police, or that's the time when you complain. Otherwise, most of the time, what we do, we say, theek hai, chalta hai yaar, chodo, hum adjust. Matlab, let us adjust. Wo log kisi ne kuch bura bol diya, chalo, sun lete hai. We do our own work. But if every day somebody keeps on mocking, what do? You go and complain. And this right protects us. It gives us that kind of protection. Okay? You, as a person with disability, you are empowered. You have more rights now. And to just take away one of that right is, I think, makes no sense. Again, there are not only there are 2 more points which are in the circular mentioned, and I think even those 2 points requires maybe more discussion and more inputs from the disability rights activists and everybody. I think they have worked really hard. Everyone has worked very hard to get this Rights for People with Disabilities Act 2016 in place.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, the sections 89, 92 and 93 of the Act, which are also under review. I think 89 is the only section under which a person can be put behind bars from a period of 6 months, which can extend up to a period of 5 years. And then 92 and 93 comprises the kind of fine that a particular person who's accused is imposed of. Now, what will be the major drawbacks if these are negotiated?
I think the biggest drawback, of course, will be the fact that discrimination will become more acceptable in that sense, because it's not a criminal offense anymore for all practical purposes. And one of the biggest defenses of the government, I'm sure, is going to be that the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016 is not really the first act which includes the option of compounding. But I have a counter to that too, and I think it is important for the audience to really realize why this particular act is different from others and why compounding is a dangerous precedent to set with this particular act. For most of these cases, the judgment will really be given by a state commissioner for persons with disabilities or the central commissioner for the rights of persons with disabilities. Unlike a normal court, whether it's a district court, a high court, or a supreme court, which have judges who are neutral in nature, the commissioner for persons with disabilities at both the state and the center are political appointees appointed by either the state government or the central government, depending on where that particular person is. So assume if somebody who has a government job complains against his senior, who's another political appointee on the cases of discrimination, do you think one government employee who's a political appointee from one particular political party, and I'm not talking about any one political party that's on power in the center or in the state here, I'm talking in a politically agnostic way, do you think a commissioner will really take an action against somebody from his own political party in that sense? So, and if a commissioner really tells a disabled person that I'm going to compound the case, there's no point for a disabled person also to continue arguing that case, because the commissioner is the eventual person who's going to give the judgment. So I think it's not really right, and I think it is a conflict of interest in the commissioner having the power to compound cases because of this, unlike in most other laws. Mansi also brought up the point of the SC/ST Act, and here I want to make another slightly different point here, really, that, for example, if any minority is attacked throughout the country, a lot of opposition parties are also aggressively come out attacking the government, saying how this is not possible, this should not be done, etc. Unfortunately, in disability, I would like to criticize the opposition parties too, because they've been very silent on this particular issue. And I suspect that they don't even know about it, because I think even the opposition parties in India really only provide lip service to persons with disabilities at the moment. Every party in India has minority cells for various castes, various religions, various creeds, etc. But no political parties even bothered to have a disability cell so far. And I think that really is the problem that disability in India faces, where unfortunately, even today, none of the major parties really consider it a political issue, because of which persons with disabilities are often taken for a ride.
Okay. So also even considering the deadline that has been given, to collect the feedback, is that enough to receive a feedback on such a sensitive issue?
I don't
Obviously,
think so. I think 15 days, 10, 15 days is
Yeah.
a
10
very
days.
less.
10 days was given. The
10
circular came out on
days.
1st July.
Yeah,
And
so 10
but then,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the message.
So India took 9 years to just to pause for a second, and because I want to put this out, that India signed the United Nations Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in 2007.
Yeah.
It took us 9 years from 2007 to 2016 to get a proper law, and it's going to take us 10 days to dilute that law. Wow, I mean, I'm speechless.
You also mentioned, as I going through your article that you wrote, you say that, and I quote you, that the messaging in this amendment, unfortunately, is clear that the courts are too busy and they don't have time for the disabled. Please walk us through that.
It's pretty clear, right? That's what the government is trying to say. The government is trying to say that industry doesn't want disability friendly laws that discourage discrimination, which I think is ridiculous, because the major investments that India is expecting are from US, Europe, and the developed countries in Asia, which have very strong disability laws, mind you. So if they have strong disability laws in their own country, why would they have a problem in investing in a country that has strong disability laws? The second defense, in fact, the industry body also has not asked for this. The second point that the government says, as Mansi also mentioned, is declogging of courts. But the government really has no data to show that courts were clogged in the first place because of.
I think it's come as a big joke right now.
Yeah. So I think it is a big joke in that sense. I think the government's biggest problem is that they're not appointing judges or commissioners on time, and then they are making the disabled suffer. So I just don't think that is fair. So it's a clear symbol that we don't really have time for you.
In fact, even if citizens are concerned, they haven't voiced concerns over this issue, I believe. What do you have to say about that, Mansi?
Citizens have not voiced. I think people are not aware. I mean, I became aware of my own rights after I met with an accident. I had a disability. I had to go. I went and read the whole Rights for People with Disabilities Act 1995 at that time. And in 2016, when the new law came, I read that. And, why did I read it? Because I, as a person with disability. But if you see people around me, we are not aware. How many people are aware about the rights for people with disability? So I think, even the campaigns, which according to RPWD Act should be, it's a government or a state government's job to do campaigns and educate people for rights with people, to educate people for this. I think even media, I mean, I don't know, like as Nipun said that for all minorities there are cells in the different political parties. I'll say that disabled people make a very big population in India, and still we are not considered as a vote bank, and that is the reason why we don't have all these things in place. But then if you see animal rights, even they're suffering, right? Even the animals rights and the Wildlife Protection Act is getting few things here and there are getting changed, and we are not much aware. Why? Because there is not much awareness, and this is what is happening. Okay, we as people with disabilities, we have to speak more, and governments whose job is to spread awareness about this, even that should happen. I won't blame people for not having the access to it, because if you see there are so many articles currently on website on internet saying how many websites are accessible. So if you don't have access to information, how are you going to raise voice?
Absolutely. So I would like to conclude asking you both, how has the journey been for both of you this far? How good, what kind of experiences you have gained, and which you would like to tell our audience about?
Mansi, you want to go first?
So yeah, like I am into sports. Last year I got a gold, and
Absolutely,
I became a
yeah.
world champion, and it's such a great honor to be playing for the country and everything. But I think as a person with disability, or as a new person with disability, I feel India has a long way to go. In terms of access, infrastructures, opportunities. I work with Bharat Petroleum, and the company has I work as an officer there through the sports quota scheme. So I think there are many new schemes started for people with disabilities in the PSUs, but I think we have a long way to go even to fill up the 4% of quotas that are there in the government sectors and PSUs. Discrimination is rampant against people with disabilities. I have faced discrimination. This lockdown, I have faced so much of discrimination in spite of having such good credentials, people recognizing, and still have faced issues. So I won't deny, that it's not there. It is definitely there, out there. And people who say it's not there, I think they're just lying to themselves, saying, okay, everything is fine. It's not fine. But I'm happy that things are changing. I see change, but I think we as people with disabilities, we have to be more vocal. We have to demand for more change. And I think I would like to thank Nipun and all the disabled right activists who have been working in this field since years, making sure everything is on paper in place. I'm sure whatever is on paper, it's taking time for government to implement all these things, but then it is at least there on paper. It is implemented, and it's their hard work and their efforts, their extensive involvement with the people with disabilities, that all these things are possible. And I think taking out or decriminalizing for the finance ministry or pleasing the finance ministry, I think it's a wrong move. And I'm sure more and more people will talk about this topic, and let's start the conversation.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Divyani, for highlighting this particular issue. So I should thank the Logical Indian too. I think a lot more people in the media need to raise this particular issue. As far as my own journey is concerned, I was born in 1987 when I did not even have a Disabilities Act. The first act came in 1995, and when I was taken out of my mother's womb and I was shown to medical doctors. Even doctors were not really sensitive to how to respond to a person with a disability. This was a pre-Google era, and they just saw me, and doctors, without thinking, told my parents that Nipun is going to live the life equivalent of a wooden doll, which was not very encouraging for my family at that time, obviously. But I think I was lucky that my parents decided to give me a completely normal life. I went to a normal school. I went to the best of colleges after that, and I started the Nippon Foundation in 2012 in that sense. As far as the situation in India is concerned, I think the situation today is way better than what it was when I was born 32 years back. I think things have improved. India had the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995. Then India had the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016. The private sector today hires a lot of persons with disabilities. In the government too, there are quotas. Of course, they are not fulfilled totally at the same time, but they are there. Today in the morning, I was at a webinar where I was actually talking about how in the Paralympics, India wins more medals than India wins in the main Olympics. That's because of great sports persons like Mansi. So thank you so much, Mansi, for what you are doing. So I think
Absolutely.
India has done a lot in the last 3 decades when it comes to persons with disabilities. Of course, a lot more needs to be done. The glass is both half full and half empty, but I think it's up to us. And by us, I just don't mean persons with disabilities, but I think every citizen of this country really to voice our opinion about rights of persons with disabilities, because in the end, in this world, I don't think the world is divided into persons with disabilities and persons without disabilities. But I think it's divided between persons with disabilities and persons who are temporarily able-bodied. Because by the time you turn old, you might lose a bit of your sight, you might have hip replacement surgeries because of which you can't walk properly, or you can't hear properly. So I think these rights are rights for all of us. And if we do not make India an equal opportunity country for persons with disabilities, we are not an equal opportunity country for anyone. Thank you.
Absolutely. Amid this pandemic where has anyway pointed out the exclusionary nature of the government towards this section of the society, I think amending this provision just takes away a sense of empowerment. If I can jot that out from our conversation. Thank you both for joining us.